Everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Abby with Abby Reviews, and this is going to be my review and recap for David Makes Man Season 2, Episode number 5. Episode number 5. We don't know what the hell's happening. We don't know what's going on. Unreasonable things are being asked of people that should just never be asked. We're going to see what happens. Let's jump into it, shall we? The level of confusion in my spirit and on my face watching the intro to this episode. It starts, David wakes up, of course, in a full-blown sweat. And he starts listening to this daily affirmations from his centered chakra expert. And then all of a sudden, he's super positive. He does these affirmations. He's super positive. I don't know. Like he makes a date with the little girlfriend. He is talking super, like it was weird. It was like, it's for David, it was really weird. He tipped the coffee people $50. Like, baby, what's happening? One lady was like, baby, are you okay? He was like, yes, ma'am, and you have a blessed Okay. All right, that's where we're going today. All right. But then we snap back after he has like an interaction with his psychologist, which I knew this was when I knew something was super wrong. When he said he does this, and this, and then the psychiatrist agrees with him after he babbles all this bullshit at her. I'm sorry, excuse me? What is... And then he snaps back to reality, and he's standing in front of the medical plaza where the doctor's office is located, and he's canceling his appointment because he says he doesn't feel good. All right. David just really offered up his brother as a lamb to the slaughter. Jesus Christ. All right, so David, as he's entering his office, the annoying nephew of the guy who wants to run for mayor shows up to pick him up. He's like, my uncle is waiting for you. And so they take him to a restaurant. And so he was like, he finds out that they know that JG is his brother, who's the police officer that was shot in the Ville. And so they have this conversation about, you see the wheels spinning in David's head about how he's going to rectify this situation. And he decides to use his brother being shot in the Ville to push this narrative about the man having a heart of gold and, seeing the violence in the Ville and having this change of heart about building the mall and wanted instead help the community to quell the violence, And he was like, I'll give a speech as the brother of the man who was shot in the Ville. And the mayor doubles down on this whole thing. They said they're going to turn it into a charity party event, invite the commission, the mayor, the police, community members, and so they're even going to invite JG. And then the man doubles down and says, well, your brother is the one who actually should make the speech, because it would sound better coming from him, quell the violence in the Ville, all that good stuff. And David, he was like, your brother would do that? He was like, yeah, sure, he'd be happy to do it. We all know that's not necessarily the truth. And then, this is what kills me. He says, your brother, you have to practice with your brother. He's going to need to be as articulate as you are. Why would you assume he's not articulate? It's because he's a police officer. He's a black man. He's a police officer. Like, I don't like that assumption. Now, then he was like, okay, because David did all that tap dancing to save his job. So the man then tells the nephew, he was like, I need a ride, take me where I need to go, and then circle back to help David plan this party situation. And he was like, that's all you're going to do? The man lies to you and he still gets to keep his job? And he looks at him and he's like, if you're willing to sacrifice your brother to cover your ass, then I'll be worried about you. Until then, do what the hell I said. Yikes. Once that man leaves, though, you literally see the light switch off in David, and he has like a whole PTSD anxiety moment and throws up in the trash can because he just realized what he just did. Okay, so David goes by JG's house. JG and that crazy lady are arguing. I refuse. So JG and the woman is arguing, and so David is outside ear hustling. What he doesn't see is his niece is sitting right there watching him ear hustle. And she was like, how long you gonna listen to them argue? And he was like, I was trying to wait till them to be finished. He was like, why are you out of school? And she was like, Ma, Uncle David is outside. So he goes in the house and he invites JG to the gala and says, you know, people there want to honor you, you know. And he's like, well, what do I have to do? He was like, you just speak a few words, talk about the violence and how we can fix it. He's like, nothing more than you normally say. Just say what you normally say. And he's like, is this about what you're trying to do in the Ville? And he's like, she said you would try something. And he was like, she who? Shayla? He was like, nigga, shut up. You trying to cause a problem. And so he was like, Shayla's gonna be there? And he was like, yeah. And then I guess JG thought better about it. He was like, no, I'm not going. And he was like, let the people honor you. He was like, I'm gonna try and get Miss Elijah, people from the neighborhood, everybody there. Just come and let the people honor you. And he was like, I'll think about it. And he walks off, and the girl is mad. She's talking, what you got to think about? I was like, oh, daughter is really angry, and I would be too if my wig looked like that. But that's another story. We then see David back in his office. He's starting to make plans. The little nephew comes in with the program, and he gets stuck by, first of all, why is JG's name so huge on the program? And he was like, all the spelling mistakes that I found, he's like, I'll take it to the printer. Here's some easy tasks that you can get accomplished. I don't know what's going on with JG and his daughter, but they're at like this ice cream shop. And he was like, come on, talk to me, Trin. And she's pretty much ignoring him. And he was like, he does this little skit about a woman not being able to pay the rent or something, and some man comes to save her and says he'll pay the rent. And she was like, that's sexist. Why the woman can't pay the rent by herself? Why she need a man to help her pay the rent? He was like, but you used to love the skit. And she was like, it's sexist, Dad. And then she was like, come on, talk to me. We've always been able to talk. She was like, well, why does Uncle Dave want you to go to some gala? And he was like, don't even worry about that. And she was like, okay, yeah, we talk. He was like, why are you not eating your ice cream? She's like, I'm vegan. I've been vegan. This, with all the ice cream here, has dairy in it. And then she gets up and walks away. And something's going on with baby girl. I just don't know what it is. And they're not telling us either. So what's happening? That went so far left. So far left. And rightfully so. So David's at dinner with the little girl. I guess that's the little trainer girl that he been sleeping with. So first he told her he slept with Marissa. Just out the clear blue sky. She was like, why would you tell me that? And he was like, you want me to be honest? She was like, okay, not that kind. I didn't need that much honesty, sir. You could have kept that. And then he was like, I want us to be exclusive. First you tell me you slept with somebody else, now you want to be exclusive? She's like, you know what would have been good? You telling me that your brother had been shot. I had to find out on the news like I was everyone else. Why didn't you tell me? He was like, because it was none of your business. Oh. But you want to be exclusive. You want us to be a thing. But it wasn't my business that your brother was... Okay. So she rightfully gets up and says, I'm done. I'll let you know when I want to talk to you. And I really want to know who's doing the wigs for this show. Is it the same people who be doing the wigs for Tyler Perry? Because it wasn't that hers was that bad. Her baby hairs was swooped appropriately. It just looked awkward on her. I didn't like her dress either. I don't know why the aesthetics was bothering me so bad, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The dress looked piecemeal together. It just, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And now Elon is worrying David about the program while he's in the midst of this argument with this girl. And then he starts to call him and she's like, okay, just go ahead and take care of your business. She tells him, like, when we have conversations, it's not like you're talking to me. It's like you're reading a script that's printed above my head. Like, she wants the real, and David is giving, I don't know if David is capable of giving her that. So David goes to the Ville to invite Shayla to the gala, and she's cussing him out. Miss Elijah comes up to and is hollering at David, come see my outfit. And there's a look across his face like, oh my God, like he's gonna be embarrassed. And he was like, it's a low-key event, Miss Elijah, you know. And she was like, boy, bye. And then David turns on the charm on Shayla, talking about JG told him to make sure he invites her. He really wants her there because he's grateful that she saved his life, and so is he. She melts. She's gonna come. Hold on. So as he's walking, after he leaves the Ville and he's walking, I guess, toward the train, he sees Taryn, and it turns into this whole dance number by Such a Fool by what's that crazy man's name? Such a Fool for You. That song. And so they have this whole dance number, and they're hugging, and they're happy to see each other. They haven't seen each other in a year. And he invites her to the gala. She was like, I have nonstop rehearsals with the kids. And he was like, bring the kids, you know, have them perform, like a big performance before the practice before the performance. And she was like, you always seem to have an agenda. You never can just live in the moment. That's why we didn't work out. And then she was like, it's okay. You know, you don't have to explain anything to me. I'll see you in another year. And they hug, and the states, it switches back to them being the younger versions of themselves. So it was super cute. I loved it. So I wasn't expecting thug tears. Thank you, Miss Gloria. Jesus Christ. So David is walking, and he walks up on this bus stop, and he sees Trent sitting there. And so he's like, why are you out here by yourself? Are you waiting for the ride? Did your ride not come get you? And she was like, I'm taking the bus. He's like, so when do you take the bus? And she tells her, Uncle David, she was like, he's like, let me take you back to your grandma's house. And he's like, I don't want to be there. She crazy with the hot flashes, the air conditioner on, air conditioner off. Like, this is too much. And he was like, okay. He was like, talk to me. What's going on with you? And she was like, yeah, talk to you. Like, you gonna tell me half truths. Nobody wants to tell me the whole of anything. He's like, what do you mean? And she asked him about Saren. And she was like, what? You're not gonna tell me about him either? And he was like, no, I'm just. So he tells her about Saren having it really bad at home, and it was a dangerous situation. He said we had to get him out because if he had stayed, it would have just gotten worse and worse. And she was like, do you miss him? And he was like, yeah, he was my best friend. And David is in tears about it. And he was like, okay, let's get you home. It's almost past curfew. She talked about, I'm 13. I can take myself home. He was like, okay. And so she gets up to start walking. He was like, he said, go ahead and take yourself home. I'll just be 6 feet behind you, minding my own business. And next thing you know, they standing in front of Gloria's house. It's gone from being light outside to it's pitch black. Gloria's pissed. She's yelling at Trent, you know, you need to find an acceptable answer for why. So Gloria is going the hell off just like I was. She was like, you gonna have to go think about what you did, and when you come back, have a respectable and reasonable answer for why you were feeling the way you felt to make the choices that you made. And then she took her phone and she's like, yeah, you probably get this back in a week. And then when Trin walks off, Gloria breaks down and starts crying and says, why do they think leaving is the correct answer? Child, that thing broke me. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I still don't know where Saren is. And I need to, where is Saren? Like, what happened to him? Are we going to find out? Is he just in the ether somewhere? We never know what happened. I need to know what happened to Saren. Is Saren going to get a spinoff show and we figure out what happened to Saren in this time frame? Where is Saren? Where? So David has this he walks up on JG sitting on the porch, and he has this conversation, and he's like, and JG's reiterating that he doesn't want to go to this gala. And David is trying to say, like, Shayla will be there and say all of these things. And he was like, it'll help you keep the family together. He was like, you really think so? And he was like, yes. And you see David go off in his head, like, after everything that I've done for you, I cleaned your piece of sheets, blah, blah, blah. I'm your brother. You can't do this for me. And he snaps back just that quickly. But JG knows his brother. And he saw something go off with David, and he was like, David, are you okay? Are you in some kind of trouble? And David's like, no. And he was like, no, something's going on, especially you leaving a message telling me that you love me. And he was like, just be there. And JG agrees to come. So we then go back to and so you can hear the mantra lady, the chakra positive affirmation lady that he's been listening to this whole episode talk about. Today is about love. And, place yourself in a mirror. And he's going through his suits, and you see the blue suit that he wore to the dance, and Miss Elijah helped him tailor so he didn't look crazy. And then she's like, look in the mirror, and she's like, and said, can you say I love you? And then he stops stone cold, and he just walks away. And the reflection was the younger version of himself. I thought that was very deep. He's so messed up that he can't even say I love you to the younger version of himself, which he had killed off at one point. So, I personally really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed the squidging that they gave us a Saren. Where's Saren? I like that we got Tara in this episode. I'm along for the ride, and I am enjoying the storytelling of this particular season. I know a lot of people are having an issue with the time jump, but I am still willing to give them the chance to tell the story. So, with that being said, that is my review and recap for David Makes Man Season 2, Episode 5. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a kin, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.